Good morning. This is Dr. McDaniel at GYN Corner. I'm a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist in New York City, and I'm bringing to you all things health-related for women. Thank you for joining me at GYN Corner today. I'm obviously not at the hospital today. I'm at home, and I'm trying to get Of course, I'm just filming this on a cell phone, trying to get my iPhone together here. So today, I'm doing the part 2 on should we eat deli meat? Is it good for us? What's the 411? So let's see. Please check out the previous presentation. That was the part 1 on deli meat. Basically, deli meat is any kind of processed meat. So cold cuts, ham, roast beef, turkey, salami, pepperoni, canned meats such as Spam, which is the pork, or corned beef, bacon. I don't know if I said pepperoni, salami. It's all of the processed meats that we eat on sandwiches or on pizzas, or if there's an apocalypse and we need to have meat available, then it's going to be one of those processed meats. So I had a patient the last week who, because she's pregnant, we were doing an early pregnancy consult, and she asked me, is it okay to eat deli meat? She's heard lots of different things. So this is what sparked the presentation today. So last week I spoke about why the processing or the preservation of the cold cuts and so on is an issue, and it's because of the processing with nitrites and nitrates. So most of the nitrites that we get into our system are from fruits and vegetables, predominantly vegetables, because there's nitrites in the soil. When the nitrites from the soil mix with our saliva, it turns into nitrates, and that's a salt compound. And it also allows the processing companies, the food companies, to be able to process these meat products, and it helps to preserve them so that we can keep them for longer than we would just fresh meat. So fresh meat we should consume within 1 to 2 days, right? These processed meats, technically, when you open the package, they should be consumed within 5 days, but we all know the tinned meats, you can keep those for years, and packaged bacon, pepperoni, salami, any smoked, cured, or salted type of foods, until you open the package, you can keep those for a really, really long time. Just either depending on the meat, just in the pantry or in the refrigerator, and it's because of the salt, the nitrite, sodium nitrite salt that they have, that they've been processed with. So the catch is when the nitrites from the meats mix with any kind of bacteria, or mix with the saliva when we're eating it, that also produces nitrates, and those can potentially cause cancer. So the research has been done, and it says that regular consumption of these processed meats produces the nitrosamines, which looks like it's a carcinogenic compound. It can produce cancer in our bodies if they're eaten on a regular basis. And in order to find out what kind of risk we're at, it depends on how regularly you're consuming the processed meat. So the research says that 1 slice of deli meat, of course I wrote it down because I might forget it just off the top of my head. 1 slice of deli meat has an increased risk of about 4% per year. And the caveat with that is you have to eat the slice of deli meat, so have a deli sandwich every day. So 15 grams of deli meat is equal to about a slice, and if you have that every day, that increases your risk of cancer by 4%. A lot of people, surprisingly, do have a sandwich every single day, for lunch every day, or as a shortcut for dinner. So they equal out about 5 to 7 days every single week of eating a sandwich or cold cut. So they will increase slightly their risk of cancer in a 1 to 2 year time frame by 4%. Now, the sodium content is also an issue. So it's not just the carcinogenic compounds, it's also sodium, because really high intake of sodium can increase blood pressure slightly for most individuals, not for everyone, but most individuals, because that increased sodium helps to stiffen blood vessels, which obviously will increase the blood pressure. Now, what I did find out is that if you have a sandwich, that will increase your sodium intake by approximately 400%. And that's because, let's see, the American Heart Association recommends that we maintain sodium intake to less than 2,300 milligrams per day. Now, that's just all comers. Some people naturally have low blood pressure, or they have a lot of other activities and lifestyle changes that keep their blood pressure low, so they can afford to have higher sodium intake. Others don't. So this is all comers. It's the old bell-shaped curve. So it doesn't apply to every single individual, but it applies to the vast majority. So we should keep, in general, our sodium content to under 2,300 milligrams. Now, a deli sandwich. I found out that 1 ounce of, say, turkey meat has 500 milligrams on average of sodium. 1 slice of cheese, about 150 milligrams. 2 slices of bread, about 280 milligrams. And then you add, of course, some mustard and mayo. Now, my kids, the girls don't usually have mustard and mayo, but the boys do. So most people put mustard and mayo. I would put mustard and mayo if I had a sandwich because it tastes better with it. The mustard is going to add about 125 milligrams, the mayo about 85 milligrams. So when you add all of that up, you're looking at 5, 6, 7, 8.5, 9.5, 1,000, 1,100. So you're looking at about half of your daily recommendation for sodium just in that sandwich. And we all know some of the men, if they're taking a sandwich to work, they're not going to take 1 sandwich. They're going to have 2 sandwiches. So they've already peaked out their sodium recommendation for the day with lunch alone. Let alone dinner, you might have pasta, lasagna, or some kind of meat where you're adding salt, or you could have potentially breakfast where you're having bacon, and of course that has salt in it. So you can see how quickly the sodium intake skyrockets. So the deli meat issue is an issue for the sodium nitrite, and the sodium that's induced, and then it's also an issue on the long haul or long-term ramifications of 4% increase in cancer. And then the upshot is, if you're having say you don't have 1 slice of deli meat regularly, say you have 2, that's about 30 grams, and then say you have bacon, or you have pizza on a regular basis, that also increases it. So if you get 50 grams of sodium nitrite on a regular daily basis, that increases the risk of colorectal cancer by 18%, and it also increases the risk of breast cancer. So the recommendation is to try to decrease your intake of processed meats because of sodium and the slight increased risk of cancers, all comers, but especially colorectal and breast cancer, by minimizing the frequency. So as most things go, everything in moderation, right? So if you're going to have cold cuts or processed meat, try to limit it to maybe every other day or every third day. The sandwiches is the biggest one because you add the sodium up quickly. So the catch is to try to buy non-cured meats, and I do that myself. If I buy bacon, I buy the uncured bacon without the antibiotics, blah blah. The catch also for that is they can officially say that it's not cured, it's uncured, if they don't chemically process it directly with sodium nitrite, but a lot of them will use natural methods to process the meat. and that's going to be beetroot juice or celery juice or celery powder, because those are vegetables. They have nitrates naturally in them. So they'll say it's like naturally processed organic, but it does still increase its sodium nitrite when you consume it. So it does still increase that same risk to a lower level, of course, because it's a lower level, but it's still a potential issue. So I hope that's been helpful information on why deli meats are an issue. It's simply because regular, or what I would really say is overconsumption on a regular basis, does slightly increase the risk of cancer on a yearly basis, and it does increase sodium intake, which not for everyone, but for the vast majority of people can quickly add up and can be an issue for blood pressure. Increased blood pressure problems. So thank you for joining me at GYN Corner today. If it's the weekend for you, actually I don't usually produce these on weekends, but I hope you had a great weekend, that you were able to get out and enjoy the sun and the warmth while we still can. Those of us in the northern hemisphere, the northern states, don't get the sun every single day. We get it periodically. So enjoy the sun, get your vitamin D. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining me here on Facebook, but also check out the GYN Corner on YouTube and the podcast GYN Corner, where they're all nicely delineated. Hit the likes and the follow, subscribe buttons. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.